Shanti, good morning. Is my sound clear?
Yes, Arif bhai.
Okay. Apologies for being late for a few minutes. We can start now. Yeah. Can I start?
Yes, please.
So welcome everyone, and very, very good morning for those who are in India and on this area. And if you're logging in from another site, good later morning or afternoon, or whatever time it is in your place. So today we have a very, very lovely topic, and there is so much to talk about this topic that it's like I think the whole second, it's like the whole knowledge going through this topic is like completing the whole understanding of knowledge. And so there is a bit to cover, but I would like also to hear from you. So today we are going to discuss, inspired by the last week's Murlis, we are going to discuss the method to become divine. And basically that's the aim, isn't it? To reach the stage where there is no difference, I think earlier in my Brahmin life, I realized that this path takes me all the way, and when we talk about all the way is when you reach a point where there is no difference. What is divinity? Divinity is to be God-like, to be Bab Saman, to be equal, where there is no gap between the two. And before knowledge, I had experienced a lot of feeling of love for God, just like devotees have their own ways for expressing and experiencing God's love. In that way, I started exploring love of God through meditation. And the meditation that I was performing at that time before Gyan was to feel the love of God in the heart. Now, Baba usually says that, how can you, connect to me if you don't know me? But my experience tells me that I could connect to him. And consciously, maybe I did not know him, but I think the soul knew him, even though he did not come in front of me, but there is a memory, right? So I was feeling that love for God, and I actually was writing letter before even coming to Gyan. I was writing letter. So, we can't challenge our experiences. But for me, that was the first time where I felt God's love, and in order to feel love, there has to be that connection. There has to be that that divinity. I can't, one of the things that we say that where there is any kind of impurity in the heart, God cannot sit in that heart. Yeah. So this topic is very much important in the sense that all the efforts that we are making is actually taking us to that that point of divinity. So let's start. Um, okay. I'm not able to. Okay, maybe now. Yes. All right. All right. So in those murlis, there was one very interesting murli that came. And it is some Kumaris had come to surrender. And I really loved that part, I was trying to picture it. And all these Kumaris, they're there and they've come to surrender and very excited, And Baba explains this process because there's a big connection for this process to happen, and surrendering, because to be equal, you have to, reach that point. So Baba was talking about a few steps, which we will look at. What happens in this, and he asked the Kumaris, have you made this decision or you're going to decide now? Like they are sitting there, they are ready to do everything, but still this process of making an internal decision, even when I first came, and maybe you might also have experienced, you've come to Gyan, you're not like Brahmin at that time, or maybe some few people might be, because you're just absorbing, you're just learning something. At one point, you make a decision that this is the lifestyle that I want to lead. Yeah, and it's so beautiful. So I have to agree. Just like when there is an engagement in the worldly sense, first is that yes, okay, you get a yes between the two parties, and then an agreement is made that okay, we agree, but what are we agreeing to? Then there is an agreement, and after agreement there is an engagement that has to happen. Okay, and for this there's a meeting that happens, okay, just like in this case. So there are two meanings of engagement. One is what happens before marriage. Another thing is you engage yourself in this service. Okay, so the two meaning of engaging, one is the engagement as in the world, and the second thing is that promise to be able to serve and to be able to surrender to the one that you're being engaged to. And then after that, there is a completion. So I really like these steps. And I feel that this is something that we should keep in mind in a process of to our way to become divine. Then there are other practical stuff that will come up. Okay. So the moment you decide that you want to walk this path and you are, on your journey towards divinity, there will be opposition, but we need to know how to overcome this opposition, very simple way. So the theme that I felt was coming up in this list, looking at these murlis, was balance. We need to know, we have to have clarity of balance. And we will see this theme coming up, where there are two forces and we need to know where to balance ourselves. Sometimes we have to balance ourselves this way, sometimes we have to balance. And this is the key, I think, towards, moving forward. Yeah. So Baba said that you have to have courage within yourself in advance. When you are in a situation and there is something that happens, if you are not prepared, you will not be able to go through that. So courage is not something that you start bringing while the situation happens. you have to have that strength yourself. That's why this practice is very important. You build that practice, and then it has to come when it is needed by itself. Yeah, so you are already prepared. And then Baba mentioned about this word high jump. Okay, so in order for, even in the physical world, there is some things that have to happen for somebody. Let's say in sports, if you are doing high jump, I don't know if any of you participated in sports, but there are a few things that you need to do to be able to perform a high jump. Okay. And in this context, Baba is talking about this nature, which I really, really, if there is one thing that I can choose, is this nature of being light. So Baba says that for these people, they would experience lightness internally and externally. One is lightness of the stage internally, and the other is lightness externally. Externally, you have to come into connection with everyone. Okay, so it's a journey, but you're not alone in this journey, okay, towards this divinity. And the way to manage it, or the method that we can adopt, is we have to live with other people. We have to be easy. We have to understand other people. Okay. But also at the same time, we have to be light internally. Okay. Not that I can manage with other people very well, but internally I'm blaming myself. I'm, I have a lot of guilt. I have a lot of shame. That will make me heavy. Okay. So I need to have this balance of being internally as well as externally light. Yeah. So if I am able to be light, then I will not add to the problems. Look, every time you start using anything negative, the reason for doing that is there is some heaviness within yourself. Every time you do something wrong or something that is not appropriate, it starts with something heavy within. Like nobody wants to be angry. But if you're confused, you don't know what to do. If you can't find a way, that's the time where you start becoming angry. And that heaviness, comes in. So we have to put this attention that we do not want to increase the problem. If there is any problem, we want to lighten that. And the way we operate internally and externally, usually we start increasing that problem. We make that problem even more, So Baba always guides us to solution-based attitude. Okay, so some of those who finish all problems, and whereas others are those who become a problem, that you are becoming an obstacle yourself, depending on your attitude towards the situation. So these are a few tips that will help us manage the outer situation. So never become, Samadhan Swarup, somebody saying, yeah. Okay, and then you move on. So another aspect of overcoming problem, there are other aspects, and I just try to go through for a little while, and then we can discuss. When each one of you, this is that balance form, okay? When each one of you becomes a form of Kali, you will be able to face any problem. Okay? So another approach is this internal powerful stage of myself, which Baba calls it Kali in this scenario, as you get the image or the vision of what you're talking about. So when each one of you becomes that, you will be able to face any problem. Okay. For the Kumaris especially, you must not become Shitala, the goddess of coolness, but you must become Kali, the goddess who destroys all evil. you understand anyway in which aspect you have to become Shitala. So, so Baba, looking at this particular group, feels that, look, these are new, young ones and quite tender, and Baba gives an example, the birds will first pick those soft ones, tender leaves, and will eat them, So, so that's why Baba is focusing that, look, you need to be able to face, you're going to the world, there will be challenges, even while giving knowledge, there will be people who know more than you, who have read books more than you. So you need to have that powerful form, within yourself. But then reminding that you also have another form, where in terms of dealing with other people, dealing with your own people that are, in the path, especially, that you have to be kind and cool and, gentle, So this is very nice way. Usually, I think, I do not know about you, but which one of these two are natural for you and which one you have to make it? I had a very lovely experience when I was in, I live partly in Madhuban, and the brothers there, they have different duties. And I noticed, sometimes they are a bit very firm, and I said, why, like in my mind, you would question that and say, like, why to talk? And I called one of them and I asked them, why are you speaking in this manner? He said that at this point of time, I'm dealing with people who are from outside. That's number one. And even internal, it doesn't really just mean that outside people. But if I don't do this, I will not be able to achieve, my duty, because there are many duties, and one of the very critical one is to be in the security. To be in the security, you need to learn this balance, in the sense that you are protecting the whole place. You are having a responsibility. So if you miss something, the enemy will get into, so you have to be very careful. And he said, this is the reason. So even that, manners of talking, but then inside there is a lot of gentleness, or within, that conversation, you can see different approach. Yeah. So when you need to, be that, you can be, and then you can change. And that's very tricky. Even in our lives, it's very tricky. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So what is the qualification? Okay, so I know that I have to be sometimes in this form, but how do I qualify to be that? And so Baba mentioned a very nice picturistic image. So keep the drums. Okay, so the Shankar, who is the deity who's representing destruction, is shown with this drum, the little drum called Nagare. And then, so you have to keep this in mind, that I can take this form when I need. And also, I have to have the Nazare, okay? And Nazare means the scenes of the kingdom. Okay, so I have both. I can, create that sound of destruction. At the same time, my eyes is also on the creation, something beautiful. So destruction is not really destruction, but transformation. Yeah. So I need to have this in my mind, basically. Yeah. Then next, Baba talks about, again, love and cooperation when we come together. There is an attainment of power, and through this power, you attain success. Okay. So you see, on one side, we are talking about the fierce form, and on the other side, love and cooperation. So all of these things have to be together. Divinity means perfect balance, as we mentioned. Yeah. Then next is the form of creation and the form of sustenance. the form of creation and the form of destruction, again, in terms of Brahma and Shankar. Brahma means that, the one who creates. Okay, so the form of creation and the form of destruction. And we need to know when to take which position. Okay. So these are mainly external method that we have talked about so far towards divinity. But what about the internal condition to divinity? Internally, Baba is talking about if you have the practice of catching thoughts, you will easily be able to become free from thoughts. If you have the practice of catching thoughts, you will easily be able to become free from thoughts. Okay. So what does this mean? To catch thoughts, to be free. So there is some more explanation that Baba goes through. And he says that the more you stabilize yourself in this angelic object feelings, the more easily you will be able to understand everyone else's feeling. The reason we interact with people in a certain way is because we think that this is what they are feeling, this is what they're thinking, and this is such an essential internal check or internal condition that allows me to interact appropriately with other people. To understand the other person helps me, to know how to interact. So this is the final thing, I think, to be able to take that form, that, the spiritual form of myself, I, the soul. That's the ultimate practice that we need to divinity. Okay. And Baba talks about it and equates it to a mirror. Okay. And I really love this example because often we make a mistake here. Okay? So the Avyakt stage is a mirror. A mirror does not have to make effort to understand anyone's feeling. So what does a mirror do? A mirror merely reflects back to you and gives you an idea or clarity of what it is that you're looking at. Okay? And whatever is on the mirror is exact reflection of what is there in front of you. So whatever is on the mirror, and the mirror actually is here, and it's reflecting what is, anything that comes. It could, one thing is it could reflect internally, but one thing it reflects externally. And if there is anything on the mirror, that thing also will appear. Okay, so we often blame other people, for defects and all, but actually the problem is on the mirror. Okay, there's that very nice story of somebody looking through the window, and there were some clothes hanging, and this person always used to look at the window and used to see the clothes, white clothes and different color clothes hanging there, and always used to think that, this person, I don't know what kind of washing they're doing. There's always stains in their clothes, and, and kept thinking very low of this person, how they're washing their clothes, so much stain on the clothes. And, this person eventually realized actually the clothes were very clean. It was the window through which they were looking at, which was stained. And they always thought that, it was the clothes. So this mirror is within me. It's basically the mirror of my intellect, the mirror of my heart. And if there are any stains on that, we will start seeing the world full of stains. Okay. So this is how I saw this particular point, and we can share your thoughts as well. Okay. So the mirror will show you this feeling, but that mirror has to be clean. So how to keep the mirror clean? Okay. So you can see Baba is actually expanding and explaining each and everything so that it's easy for us, He's not leaving any. So to keep again, this point of easiness, okay, there are three things that Baba came up in this particular part, how to keep this mirror clean. The first thing is easiness, simplicity, lightness, this attitude of not being heavy, not taking unnecessary thoughts in your mind. Okay. So that was the first thing. The second thing is think in an elevated, think great, think big, don't go into limitation, become unlimited. Okay. That's the second point on how to keep this mirror clean. And the third thing is tolerance of each other. Okay, the ability to be able to tolerate one another. Yeah? So these are the three things to keep in mind if we want to keep this mirror clean, because only when the mirror is clean, we are on this journey in the right way, in the right direction. And then we have to change, because things that will appear to us might be imperfect, but this is the process that we have to use. We have to change something, our vision, something ordinary to elevated, and then keep tolerance in front of you in every aspect. Okay. Imbibe ease and simplicity in your face and your words, then see how elevated success, you will achieve. Okay, so these are the 3 steps process. What do I see in front of me? And then whatever I see, how can I empower it? Okay, so to tolerate a situation is to be able to empower that situation. Okay, and then the approach should be with simplicity, no complex, nothing, no extras, just simple way of dealing with that situation will get me the success that I'm looking for, myself as well as other. Then Baba says about, to the extent that there is closeness, there should also be much regard for one another, So now we are going back into how we should behave. We should have regard with one another. We should have love and cooperation with one another, and that's how we are able to move forward. Yeah. Another thing that came up is, and this is, I think, one of my best ones. Often you have people coming with ideas, and what approach to take. Let's read it first. Even when someone's ideas are not clear, you must never say no. The words that emerge must always be Hanji. So remove the word no. Whatever it may be, you must first say Hanji. To say Hanji, Hanji is the easy way to make the sanskars of others easy. To say Haji, Haji, or yes, yes, is the easy way to make other sanskars of others easy. Do you understand? And I really love whenever Baba says, do you understand? It makes me think about that particular point. So I thought about this particular point, and I realized that there is so much deep understanding about how we can handle other people. Often when you talk to somebody, you're always preparing a defense, usually, okay, unless they are very friendly people, and, but usually whenever there is something strange, somebody new, or somebody that you don't get along, you're always preparing yourself to kind of, a fight kind of thing. And that's such a wrong attitude. Baba says, actually, whatever it is, whoever it is, the first response is to be able to connect with that person before you can correct them. So how can I do that? I accept whatever ideas are there, and then I can expand on that idea. We can discuss about it. But to block anybody's energy, is totally to lose the battle before you start the battle. Yeah. So we have to bear that in mind. And then finally, about eventually after how to deal with other people, how to deal with problems, how to deal with situation, what sort of aim you should keep in your mind. Baba says that do you experience the avyak stage? Now, this is very important. One is to know the avyak stage, another one is to experience the avyak stage. And avyak stage is a stage whereby I see my spiritual identity, that form of being free from the body. Yeah, that is the stage that I need to focus on, because here internally in the physical world, it's just, drama, moving things. Yeah, but that stage is what is important. When you experience the avyak stage for even 1 second, the effect of that lasts for a long time. Okay, so when it comes to a practice internally for my journey to divinity, I need to keep this avyak identity of myself very clear in my mind, and I have to continue to think about that. Okay, so let's pause for a moment, and then we can take some questions, share some points, and some thoughts that you might have. Let us try and take this form of an avyak form, my subtle form, where I am completely light. And I just come into this world, into this body, not losing this focus, the avyak, angelic, bodiless. When I come into the body and I perform my actions, they are not ordinary anymore. Elevated, simple, full of compassion, with love and cooperation. Shanti. Okay, so there's a lot, but maybe, let me see if there's anything on the chat box first. Maybe you can unmute and maybe share something that kind of put you one step forward to this journey to being equal, divine. What is it that you can take and practice for yourself? Something practical. Or anything else, even if you have a question or if you'd like to some clarity on any particular point, please you can go ahead.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
Ji, my question is, what is the difference between sneh and pyar?
Sneh and pyar. Now, my Hindi is not that great, but maybe we might be able to get help from somebody in the group. Sneh and pyar. I don't know really. What would be the difference? Anybody who's really good in Hindi? Sneh and pyar. There's somebody who sent a message. Okay, that's something else. Okay, we'll come to that, Risu Ben. Anybody knows what's the difference between sneh and pyar?
I feel it is friendship and love. Should be like that something.
Pyar being love, no?
And
Anyone
love.
else? Somebody who knows, like for sure.
Yes, Bhai Sahib. Sneh
Yeah.
and pyar. Pyar is we use this word in a Punjabi language, and sneh word is used in Hindi language, and both have same meaning. But one in Punjabi language, another one is in Hindi.
Okay.
And English
Okay.
meaning is love. So love,
So it's
pyar.
the same meaning. Okay.
Same,
Okay.
yeah, same meaning, 3 different languages.
Yeah, I think what happened in India is these words evolved, and then people started using different words, because if I like, sneh sounds a bit more, different than pyar. Maybe it could be, could be right. Yeah.
Actually, there is a song of Baba, Sneh Pyar Ki Tusse Baba, Bandi Hai Jeevan Dor. So somebody had asked this question. So no, I asked so many places now who couldn't answer. So I thought, ki, chalo, koi baat nahi, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, yeah, but I tell you one thing. I don't know what is sneh and what is pyar, but I know one thing. In practical terms, there is an experience that comes at one point of time where you feel so much love inside you. Actually, even when we say love of God, or love is love. It's not really love of, it's love only. But it gets triggered, at different time. And one of the greatest trigger of love is this divine connection. So my experience is that for 1 week, you can go even without eating food, when this love kicks in, there is so much lightness that comes with it. That's my experience of love. And actually you can even feel that in the worldly sense, when you are in love, you don't even think about, that something is difficult, you are always happy, you are always, in a, acting in a friendly manner, and nothing seems to be, difficult. You can do anything, so that's the kind of feeling, like, it's a very, I don't know, expansive kind of feeling.
Can be
Yeah.
called
So you
mohabbat.
can, yeah. So words cannot actually do justice to this thing called love, to the experience of love. So that's what I would tell you. So just experience it, I think.
Gee, thank you so much.
Yeah. So there's a hand put up. Rachna, you want to talk about this topic before we move to the next, or you have another question? Please let me know.
Om Shanti, brother, can you hear me?
Om Shanti.
Okay,
Yes.
regarding sister's question, I
Yeah.
will just attempt to answer as per my understanding. We use the same single word love in English, and there is sneh and pyar in Hindi. So when we see love with a limited consciousness, then we use the word pyar, and when we see the word love in the unlimited consciousness, with the unlimited consciousness, that is when we use the word sneh. That is just an attempt.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
is.
sure.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
there is some sense, because like collectively we say sneh, or and then when it is directed we say pyar. There is some sense in that as well, yes.
Okay.
But whatever it is, if you know what is love, just go for it. Especially this divine love, just go for it, and you will feel everything, like, I think somebody said that if there is any essence towards everything, it's only love. It's love that pulled Baba to come. It's love that pulled me to go to Baba. It's love that drives this whole world, so whatever it is, just experience that love.
I also have a question, brother, if you allow me.
Yeah. Yes.
In one of the Murlis of this week, I do not remember the exact which one. I think it was the one with the heading, The Ingredients of Becoming the Lord of the World. Baba had mentioned the word sahas in Hindi and courage in English, where he described it like courage is the seed which needs to be given the water of Baba's company. And Baba also mentioned that courage needs to be infused with power. And that's where I got a little confused, because courage is also a power, and power, of course, in whole includes all the powers. So what does Baba mean by saying put power in courage?
So there are two elements in my understanding about power. There is one power which is just power, okay, which is what we take when we are in yoga. That's what we absorb. Baba says, no, take power from me. So that is the neutral power, which includes all the powers. Okay. So sometimes in a particular situation where there is fear, we need courage. Or when we feel that, we are not supported. That's why that company, how it works is that if you are with a strong person with you, how do you feel? Automatically courageous. So that's why I think that company thing came. And the second thing is that in different scenarios, the different shades, it's just one light and different, like spectrum, and that's how I feel this topic came. Yeah. So the power is just power, there's no shades. Okay, then courage, determination, tolerance, acceptance, and faith, and all that. These are all shades of one power, which is that divine purity. When I connect to the Supreme, the soul starts becoming pure, and that is what power is. When something is in its most purest form, that's the general stage, and this has to then show in the different areas of life, and that's why we differentiate. That's my thoughts on this. Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, brother, understood. Thank you.
Okay, let me just take one question and then we go back online because she had asked earlier. Thank you, Baji, for inspiring us with such valuable, especially the mirror of the intellect. We'll try to imbibe and implement in life positively to be solution, not kind of problem. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there is, okay, this pyar reflecting the sneh word, Supreme Soul or any other soul. Pyar is reflecting the sneh towards, okay, the direction. Yes, also attitude of gratitude increase. This is by Kalpesh Bhai. Yeah. Vinod Bhai, may be power to reach with is first, just like spark and fire. Okay, something that will drive. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, any other comments, any other thoughts?
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
For me, the things in these three murlis, or whatever murlis, was two things. Yes, one is the mirror, and the way Baba has explained the mirror. And today, when you were explaining about this divinity, take for example, I stand in front of a mirror. Let it be my dressing table mirror or a big mirror. I go in, I want to make myself look glossy, look nice, look fair and all. So what do? I apply a makeup, I do so many things to that face of mine so that what I want to look like, I would have already portrayed in my mind. I want to look like Kareena Kapoor, or I want to look like this one, I would have had a nice picture. And then I try to do all that kind of thing when I'm looking in a gross mirror. Similarly, Baba says, if suppose you should first have a picture of what you want. That's my Avyakt stage. So looking at it, I'll sit in front of my mirror. I need to go inside. For this, no need to go inside a gross mirror. So an introversion I have to find out. And if I find there are some things which it doesn't make me look like that, that is antarmukta and antar. I have to finish all these differences that I can only do when I go within myself. So when I go within myself, and then like a sculptor, remove all those things which are really disturbing me, find the differences, and then that what picture I would have got in the gross mirror, I can experience that picture within me. And then that picture, which is my divinity, if it is with the power of God, it will show on my face, on my behavior, on my actions. And when I go out, I can be a light. And it is this one point really, it's a end process where Baba wants all of us be divinity, which really appealed to me. Om Shanti.
It's beautiful, yeah. So, you engage yourself, you know what it is that you want to see, and then you can then reflect it and check. So that's another way of using the mirror. Yeah, it's so beautiful and practical. You can practice it, yeah, somebody says, Buddhi ki line clear. It means the line of the intellect clear. Buddhi ka tala Jana. So when the lock of my intellect opens, yeah. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Anyone else? Malvinder, did you want to share something?
Yes, Baisab. I love to clarify one thing when we say, I like to experience Avyakt form. Does it mean same thing when we say incorporeal form, imageless, bodiless, point of light, or soul consciousness, or subtle form, or angelic form? So there are so many different words. Does it mean same thing, or they have different forms? This is one question. Going back to a previous sister, the way she explained, I love that idea. Why? Because if I like to experience, I am truly a shining star. Of course, I will imbibe those beautiful qualities within my personality one by one. So when I allow myself to go in front of the mirror, instead of doing that makeup, physical makeup, internally, when I know I'm a diamond star, I'm a sparkling star, of course, that will be my Avyakt form. Am I correct?
Very good. So the question that you had, there are many words that are being used, and I will answer that also in two levels. On one level, I'll answer it that the words are just words. The experience of the words are very unique to the person who's experiencing, because that is their experience. And secondly, their understanding of that word. Usually, many people talk about these different, bodiless, incorporeal, Avyakt, seed, whatever it is. And many of them have said that, these are distinct, and they will be distinct because they have sat down and they have kind of, had a particular experience. And experiences are enormous. We can have so many experiences. I think in this, I will invite you to explore, So take the understanding from the Murli. Baba always says, for each one, Baba will talk about it and Baba will say, Like, for example, Baba said, what is Avyakt stage, and to be, when I'm able to clearly know the feeling of the other person, know the thought of another person. So you take that as a statement and then practice that statement. And that's when you will realize, because whatever I will tell you is my experience, not your experience. Okay. So two people practicing Raj Yoga, if you ask them, how do you meditate? It will be totally different answer. And then if you ask them, what was your experience and what is this other person experience? They will not be the same. So in this one, I would say to experiment with the different things. There are distinctions of one and the other one, but words are just, they're just words. The meaning of the word is what you've understood and what you have experienced in that. So don't be caught up. If you are interested in any particular thing, read about it. And then for a few days or a week, just explore that, and you will really enjoy that process. And then you can talk about it. Okay. But as I said, different people have different, and I don't think it is important, yes, to understand, but these are all addition. At the end, there is nothing. At the end, it's just silence. And Baba did speak about this in the Murli, that, you do that and this, and then eventually there is just nothing but silence. This is really what I am. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I am kindergarten student in your class, just learning alphabet. So I'm not at that experience level yet. I'm just learning what A mean apple, B mean bat. That's what.
But this is very, very nice at the beginning. So your foundation will be good. So just whatever you hear, just listen to that. Listen to also people, but experiment yourself.
Thank you, Ji.
Somebody mentions courage and faith. Yes, that's what we have to do. Aim for my vision internally, and then introversion will make it reality. Yeah. So show it in your practical form. So just we have a few minutes. I just wanted to bring one particular thing. Nirakari, sweet silence stage. Yeah, somebody is also confirming something about final stage, final aim. So I was asking about this. I don't know. I mean, the time is very short, but I thought let me bring, because somebody had asked this question. Sometimes when we are dealing with people, we find there is a conflict. Okay. We feel that this situation is pulling me to react. Often there is that feeling, no? That, this person is not right and I have to do something, I have to show something. And we were talking about this question and how we can link to this particular Murli. I've started understanding and learning this quite a bit. There's nobody who's wrong in this world. Everybody, when they are doing anything, they think that this is the best thing to do. And whenever we are interacting with people, we find a lot of mistakes. We find a lot of things that they are not in our understanding correct. Okay, so I've kind of tried to figure out a way whereby I need to give some space, and that's why I was talking about that. When somebody comes to you, the first response is okay, yes, Hanji. The first response is Haji, and then you can go to the next one. Because the moment you block that person, it might be a bad person, it might be an angry person, it might be your enemy. The moment you block that person, there is no breakthrough. Okay, so the only thing is I need to use that power to be able to take and then merge whatever it is and then return something good back to them. And it's a very tricky thing, because we often are very judgmental. We are people of right and wrong. And the reality is everybody is right. Okay. So one of the things that Baba is, that he wants us also to be, is to give love to everyone, no matter who it is, and that's why, Baba says all these things. But if you look at how Baba interacts, it's always through love. At the end, he's always, using that power. And it's so powerful, because if that power works, then you don't even need to go to other things, And I thought that it's something that is very important in our journey, that don't see right and wrong, don't see good and bad, just see what can I do in this situation for myself and for the other person to get the best result that I can. Yeah. So this is an aspect of really the true meaning of tolerance, is to be able to support the other person. So there is something that is happening and it's very difficult, but I have the power to be able to take that, whatever it is, and then to transform it and give it back. That is the true meaning of tolerance. Yeah? Tolerance is not that, okay, he's doing this, I don't have any other option, but I'm not reacting, I'm just, quiet. That is not tolerance. Tolerance is to be able to transform that energy. Yeah. So Kalpesh says everyone is right at their place, in his or her place, but to put forward truth in front of them and help them to choose. Yeah. But that also in a very, like if they are right, then how can you put truth? Okay. So you have to be very, very careful. Believe and understand that really they are right. It's not that they are wrong, but they are looking from a limited vision. Maybe you can say that, you try to understand first what is right in them. And then the moment you understand that, you've created a connection. And then whatever you say, they will listen. But if you think that you know the truth, then there will be conflict still. So that's my experience. Love and cooperation calls for something.
Shanti Bhaiji.
Shanti.
Yeah, it's similar to we can imagine that everybody is carrying a mirror, and that mirror is the reflection of their state, and the responsibility is mine, that my mirror should be very clean and clear, so that I can see through the others' mirror also, what are the stains and all. But at the same time, my mirror should be very clear in as per the Baba's Srimad. Then I will be able to see through their feelings, because their feelings are on their mirror, not on my mirror. They should not come on my mirror. I should be just like a Sakshi Drishta looking at, and they are correct because their mirror has got that feeling and all as per their perceptions. So that I should enjoy rather than react or criticize.
That's
and then,
true. And
then radiate something positive, which you rightly said. Now I am more powerful, I am more responsible. Now I give something positive which cleans their mirror also. I mean, in a subtle manner. I do not speak anything, just
Basically, they will clean their mirror once they understand that this is what is the problem, So my stained mirror has got limitation, and I project this, whatever I see, that limitation comes in. Actually, I so much believe that every weakness you see in others, it's with you, whether you like it or not. Okay. So you just have to be very careful. Any weakness that you see in others is already there in you. Otherwise, you will not even see it.
Yeah, it's already there in my mirror. And how come it has come to my mirror? That is the challenge.
So, you're just like, struggling, telling, no, change. When you say this, like, even like, say, no, I can't do anything. It's my weakness.
Yeah.
oh, this person is too much horrible. It's my weakness. This is mine, not their weakness,
Yeah.
But it's very tricky to be able to see that.
Very, 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 very tricky. And that's what we have to practice, every moment we are practicing. And especially in our families where we are in closest relations, there we can practice a lot. I mean, every moment is a, practice where we are learning
Yeah.
to clean the mirror, keep it swatch and sharp. Om Shanti.
About the mirror, no parchintan means other people's thoughts. Their feeling is to be accommodated and reflected to them. Also, mirror doesn't remember images. Beautiful. Girija Ben, that was before Vinod Bhai, and then Girija Ben says, erase your expectation. Okay, so now we've come up on time, and just I think just think a little bit about this and see, what is it that you can put into practice. Small steps will take us to our destination. So all these methods that Baba is giving, it's so amazing. You can't like, Baba says, what's the value of one word, that Baba gives us? There's so much value. So we are very lucky that we have this in tons, So take that wealth, use it, explore, experiment, enjoy, be light, So that's my final message. And we'll have 1 minute of silence and then we can leave. Om Shanti. Lovely to be with all of you. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Arif Bhai. It was a beautiful session. Thank you, Divine Souls, for churning all the points. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Till that time, happy Sunday to all of you.
Bye-bye.
Om Shanti. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Shanti.
Thank you.
Brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Baba.
Thank